by the way, the president saying he has no control here, he has all of the control here. He's the one who has been tweeting to the attorney general that Comey needs to be indicted. He's the one that fired the U.S. attorney who would not indict Comey. And so this is a very, very corrupt, corrosive act that the president is taking. And what I would just say to any prosecutor at the Department of Justice is it's not going away. As a member of the Judiciary Committee, I promise you, when Democrats are in the majority, we are going to look at all of this. And there will be accountability. And bar licenses will be at stake in your local jurisdiction if you are corruptly indicting people where you cannot prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt.
Kevin McCarthy could get someone killed with his rhetoric. He's the Speaker of the House. He is second in line to the presidency, and he is taking a wrecking ball to the rule of law, and he is going to inspire and incite somebody to take up violence against law enforcement or somebody involved in this case. Instead of saying that exactly what Mr. Goldman just said, which is our rule of law will withstand this, and if Donald Trump is innocent, a jury of his peers will find him innocent, Kevin McCarthy is already casting judgment on the process. I'm worried about the targets on the backs of so many in law enforcement when leaders like McCarthy are siding with Donald Trump. It's reckless, it's lies that he's telling, and it's endangering people who walk the beat right now.
James Comey is going to be acquitted or the charges will be thrown out, but that doesn't make what Donald Trump has done any better. And for your viewers, I hope the way they see this is Donald Trump has not come for you yet, and he may not get to you for a while. But if you dissent against him, if you go to the town square and protest against him, he eventually will find you. That's where this is going, and that's why we all have to be louder and find strength in numbers. Don't hide under the bed. Stand up to this bully, and we can muscle through this.
Hope you guys saw the hypocrisy in that, okay? We obviously got to talk about Eric Swalwell, who you just saw there, because him, amongst others, like Hakeem Jeffries, have been saying something that's quite interesting. And I find it pretty hypocritical. But before we get into Eric Swalwell and what he had to say, I want to play this clip of Hakeem Jeffries and what he said, basically threatening all of us. Check it out.
One thing to understand, as people who are flirting with the Trump administration or doing the bidding of the Trump administration or engaging in the pay-to-play schemes of the Trump administration, the statute of limitations is 5 years. Donald Trump and this toxic administration will be long gone, but there will still be accountability to be had. And that process, of course, begins now, but it will not be complete until perhaps there is an independent Department of Justice, certainly an independent House of Representatives in Democratic hands. The Department of Justice is one of the great institutions in law enforcement in the history of this country, and Donald Trump and these extremists have been destroying its integrity.
Donald Trump and the extremist. Yeah, of course. We're extremists. We're extremists. Right. Let's jump into what Eric Swalwell had to say, because this is just shameful reporting, right? I got to put that in air quotations because this is a clip from CNN. This is just shameful reporting. Y'all got to see this, man. This is not the news, okay? This is propaganda. This is textbook propaganda. Check it out.
It looks that way. Donald Trump seems hell-bent on not going after the physical threats to you and to your viewers, but rather going after his perceived political opponents. So I don't want to set aside, because it's not who we are as a democracy. I mean, he is weaponizing the Department of Justice, going after his political enemies. But what does it mean to everyday Americans? We're seeing an escalation of mass shootings.
He's weaponizing the department and going after his opponents. What did Democrats do to Trump? Have we just forgotten about that? Weren't they like dragging him in one court after another court after another court. But that's fine and dandy, right? That's fine and dandy because Trump bad. It's okay for them to go after their political opponent because Trump bad. But even if there's like even if it looks like Trump is going after his opponents, oh my goodness, that is absolutely terrible. That is a threat to democracy. It is an end of the world. But they went after this man. They have gone after him for like the past 10 years. And drug him through courtroom after courtroom for like the past 3. And that's fine. Think about what they're saying to you, man. Think about what he's just said to you. Absolutely wild stuff. But carry on. And notice, there's no pushback from this CNN anchor. Zero. There's no fact checking. Notice how that only goes one way.
Again, obviously, we had the Kirk assassination and a political assassination on an ICE facility last week, shootings over the weekend in North Carolina and in Michigan. And so if law enforcement is pulled off the case to work on the president's political opponents, what does that mean for the rest of us? That's what concerns me. And then Kate, just as the senior Democrat overseeing the January 6th committee, what is being put out there and what Donald Trump is trying to tell people is not what happened. FBI agents, of course they responded to January 6th, just like every other law enforcement agency was asked to respond that day. They weren't there ahead of time. They responded to do their jobs. And so we're not going to let him erase the heroism of every officer that showed up on January 6th.
When you say you're not going to let them, I also heard in relation to, this was James Comey, you say last week that your committee, Judiciary, has the power to step in and kind of stop some of this. But how, Congressman, especially being in the minority?
Well, first, we are making it clear that we're going into the majority a year from now. We have every intention to do that. And so we will bring oversight, accountability. We will.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You know what? I think of that. There's a clip of this little boy that's in the back of a car, and he's like, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. That's the clip that played in my mind when he was like, and well, we're going into the majority. I'm like, bullshit, bullshit. You know, like, come on, man. Come on, Eric. Stop it with the nonsense. You know good and darn well you guys are not about to win a majority back. At least not based off what I'm saying right now. Not based off of everything that I'm seeing. Now, of course, we still got a lot of time. We got over a year before the midterm, so things could change. Things most definitely could change. And typically, the House or the party that's not in the presidency typically takes the House come midterms. You know, it typically flips. But I think if the midterms were to happen right now, right this very second, Democrats would not win. They wouldn't. Obviously, that's all I can speak to, you know, is the information that we have now. And like I said, the information based on the information that we have now, Democrats would not win, or are not going to win the midterms. Now, if that changes, I'll say it, you know. But anyway.
Will subpoena the Department of Justice, but also private actors who have done these drug deals with the administration, college campuses, entertainment companies. I
want to play this over again so y'all can catch this, because he's saying something that's quite interesting. This is major. This is a threat to democracy, guys. And yes, I know we don't live in a democracy. We live in a constitutional republic. For anybody that's going to say we don't live in a democracy, I know. I'm just repeating their taglines, okay? It's intentional. Anyway, listen closely to what he's saying.
We will bring oversight, accountability. We will subpoena the Department of Justice, but also private actors who have done these drug deals with the administration, college campuses, entertainment companies, law firms. And so accountability is coming. And so one, it's all coming out. Two, I hope that deters people from doing more of these deals, these one-offs with the president. One other point, though, on Comey, Kate, this happened when Donald Trump was president. So if you're trying to tell me this is not politically motivated, the statement that they're referring to where he allegedly lied, Donald Trump was president, so why didn't you indict him then? The fact that he's indicting him now just makes it look even more politically motivated. And so I'm pretty confident that this will either be dismissed or Mr. Comey will be acquitted by a jury of his peers.
Come Wednesday morning, you are looking at a government shutdown. Do you want to see Senator Schumer stand up here, even if it means stand up and stand against making a deal?
Well, before they get into that, notice he said private actors. Private folks, you and I. He just admitted on national television that he's willing to go after people that disagree with him or agree with Uncle Trump. He said that on national television, freely and openly. Flip the roles. If Uncle Trump were to say something like that, hey, if for whatever reason, right? Well, actually, no, we can still play it out. If Trump were to come out and say, hey, after the midterms, when we have a supermajority, right? When we win more seats in the House, we win a couple more seats in the Senate, I'm going after all of these folks who agree with the Democrats, who've been in bed with Democrats, the whole nine. What do you think the mainstream media would say? It's a rhetorical question, and we all know the answer to that. They would be losing their minds. They'd be running around like their hair was on fire. We know that. We've seen it. We've seen it. We've watched it. Based on lies in the past. Oh, Donald Trump said there's going to be a bloodbath. Oh, my goodness. How dare he say something like that? That is a threat to democracy. Going crazy. It was a lie. It was a lie. He was talking about the auto industry, not the country at large. But they went crazy over that. Theatrics. But notice she didn't even flinch. She didn't say a single thing. Zero pushback. Like, whoa, what do you mean going after private folks, private actors? What do you mean? That sounds a bit authoritarian. It sounds a bit like fascism to me. Going after your opponents simply because they disagreed with you or agreed with the current administration? That doesn't sound like a democracy to me. She gave zero pushback. Zero. Just went on to the next topic. I'm like, what about the government shutdown? He didn't just threaten half of America. Crazy how that works. Take CNN off the air, man. It's pointless.
Even if it leads to a government shutdown.
Well, I don't want to fund this government as is. And so that's what's really on the line here. This government is not killing cancer. It's killing cancer research. This government is not lowering your healthcare costs. It's increasing it as people go in to open enrollment.
But you're having a short-term, long-term problem. You're having a short-term, this is a kind of a short-term, long-term conversation. Long-term, many Democrats would agree with what you're saying right there. Short-term, your option is, as we get to this every time, and I've covered these for, I don't know, I feel like I'm a million years old at this point, it's either coming down to you're facing at this moment, you're either going to fund the government as is, talk about the healthcare subsidies later, or the government's going to be shut down. Which option are you most comfortable with?
I'm not comfortable with this Republican tyrannical government. So I'm not co-signing on that, Kate, and I don't think anyone should. Now, if they are, going to, as I said, change their deportation policy and not get rid of innocent Americans who are contributing to our economy, if they're going to lower health care costs and not get rid of the subsidies and Medicare cuts that they put in place, and if they are going to, as I referred to earlier, put back in place cancer research, as 40% of Americans are going to find out this year that they have a cancer diagnosis, I would sign off on that. But why would we want to continue to be, co-signees on this madness that is hurting our friends and neighbors and making us look less and less like America? This is a Republican-run government. They have the White House, the House, and the Senate. They've had plenty of months to put forward legislation where they could work with us to get this passed. They waited till the very last minute. Donald Trump set a meeting, canceled a meeting, reset a meeting. This is entirely on them. And as I said, I don't want to be a co-signee to this tyranny.
Tyranny. Was it tyranny when the Biden administration contacted platforms like YouTube itself, and this was admitted, to censor folks? Was that fascism? Was that dictator-like? Let me guess. Of course not, because it was Democrats, and it was for the good of people, right? It was for the good. They were trying to help people. Oh my goodness. Was it dictator-like when the Biden administration fired people when they didn't want to get the jab? Oh, of course not, because they were trying to keep us safe, remember? Hey, matter of fact, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Whenever the government says keep you safe, run away. Run far away. Because every time they've actually said that, there's been an agenda. Anyway, just wanted to throw that little tidbit in there. The hypocrisy is so rich in this, though. So rich. Well, Republicans waited until the last minute to try to get this done. Well, isn't that what you guys have always done? I vividly remember, literally, I mean, this is what Democrats have done with everything. I vividly remember when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, and literally the day before they were set to vote, she brought out the bill, right? The omnibus bill. Well, yeah. And it was like this thick monstrosity that was, just crazy number of pages that nobody could possibly read, overnight. But now, all of a sudden, it's a problem when things are brought up last minute? I don't know. I smell hypocrisy. There's just... And the fact that they could just sit on national television with a straight face and say this nonsense. Like, bro, are you kidding me?
Cancer diagnosis, I would sign off on.
And also, what was up with the 40% of people, 40% of Americans? Wait, hold on. I want to make sure I quote them right.
40% of Americans are going to find out this year. And if they are going to, as I referred to earlier, put back in place cancer research, as 40% of Americans are going to find out this year that they have a cancer.
40% of Americans are going to find out that they have cancer? What is that a real statistic? That can't be true. I mean, based upon who said it, it's probably most definitely not true. It just sounds crazy. 40%. So half of America is going to find out they have cancer? Oh, my goodness. This guy's just making up shit. He's just making up stuff. Not to mention, I feel like the cancer research industry is a complete scam, but we're going to save that conversation for another day. Because I could dive deeply on that one. Actually, I feel like we have had that discussion once before. I feel like a lot of y'all actually agreed with me in my stance and what I was saying on that. But anyway, we're gonna set a conversation for another day. Maybe we'll talk about that on a live stream or something. All right. But y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about this. The hypocrisy is so rich, man. I had to show y'all this nonsense. Eric Swalwell sitting on national television, threatening us, right? First and foremost, threatening us. So, if you didn't have a spur up your butt to go out and vote in the midterms next year, well, there you go. Okay? There you go. The Democrats, they have not learned yet. And I think it's going to be a while before they do learn. Okay? So we're going to have to make sure we get out and we vote in the midterms so that we can keep the House. As a matter of fact, expand our lead in the House as well as in the Senate. Okay? Like I said, I'll be talking about some more of those races as we get closer to that time. So it's way too far in advance to even have those, discussions on races and where and the whole nine. But when we get closer, we're going to start having those discussions on specific races and specific candidates and people and where and, that whole deal. But make sure y'all make a plan for next year to get out and vote because Democrats still ain't learned. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.